Hello, my name is Kaizhou. I'd like to introduce the concept of the scientific method and its application in anthropology. The introduction. The scientific method is an approach to research whereby a problem is identified, a hypothesis, which means provisional explanation, is stated, and that hypothesis is tested by collecting and analyzing data. The method is important because it standardized all experiments. These are the keywords: science, a body of knowledge gained through observation and experimentation; hypothesis, provisional explanation of a phenomenon; empirical, relying on experiments or observations; quantitatively, pertaining to measurements of quantity and including such properties as size, number, and capacity; data, the facts from which conclusions can be drawn; scientific information. Scientific method, step 1. The first step of the scientific method is observation. An observation may be an original observation by a scientist, or it can be an observation that other scientists have made. An example from the text is that savanna bamboos live in larger social groups than other bamboo species, which is on page 11. The data recorded during an experiment is part of the observation. The observation creates the concept for the hypothesis. Scientific method, step 2. Forming a hypothesis is the second step in the scientific method. A hypothesis is formed based on the scientist's observations. There may be more than one hypothesis, but scientists must be careful in their testing to keep the hypothesis and data separate from one another. Hypothesis must be a testable observation. Through evidence and data collected, a hypothesis can be validated or proved to be false. Scientific method, step 3. Data collection is the third step to the scientific method. During this step, the hypothesis is tested using the data collected. Data and experiments vary depending on the type of hypothesis. For example, in a controlled lab setting, factors may be controlled. In an experiment that includes nature, however, environmental factors may not be controlled. No matter the type of experiment, scientists use repeatability and verifiability principles to determine their study's results. Scientific method, step 4. Interpretation is the fourth and the final step of the scientific method. In this step, the data that has been collected and looked at and analyzed to determine whether or not the proposed hypothesis is correct. If there is substantial evidence that the hypothesis is correct, it is accepted, and if there is not enough evidence, it's rejected. After the conclusion is made from the study, the results may be used in springboard, another test or experiment, making the scientific method a cycle. A scientific theory is formed after many tests have been done surrounding a similar hypothesis, resulting in similar results. How it applies to anthropology. Anthropology is the study of human culture and the evolutionary aspects of human biology. Use of the scientific method is not limited to one area of anthropological study. In fact, it applies to all. These are the types of anthropology: cultural, linguistic, archaeology, physical, and applied. The anthropological perspective refers to how anthropologists seek to understand human beings and how our species came to be. It helps us understand our place in the world and how we relate to other living beings. The scientific method is the most direct and standardized way to provide conclusions. The conclusion. The steps of the scientific method are observation, hypothesis, experimentation, and conclusions. It is important to reach some sort of conclusion on the experiment so scientists can build up on their findings. How a hypothesis becomes a theory. All theories start as hypotheses. Once the hypothesis has been substantially verified, it becomes a theory. Examples of scientific theories include gravity, heliocentric solar system, germ theory of disease, and Darwinian evolution. The importance of the scientific method is it standardized the way scientists answer questions. And that's all from my presentation. Thank you.